welcome back to another e-learning module. I am Guneet Kesajde from Thumeva Solutions and I'm excited to take you through some more ideas, some more concepts, so together we can work on creating an even better version of you. So I'm sure that by now you all understand that in order to get respect from your clients, you need to talk, write and look like mature bankers. Currently, we are working on the second pillar, which is email excellence. In our last video nugget, we talked about the first part of email excellence, which is preparation. Before you start writing that email, it's very important to be clear on what is the purpose behind sending that email. When you choose recipients, you should be very careful and use the to, CC and BCC sections appropriately. When replying to emails or when forwarding emails, make sure you are extra diligent and careful. In today's video, we are going to talk about the second element of email excellence, which is your tone. Just like when we are talking, how we talk is sometimes more important than what we are actually saying. Our tone is communicating much more than our words. So I can say something like, please, can you come back tomorrow? Or I can say, please, you come back tomorrow. How I say it will make all the difference. And just like our verbal communication, even our emails have a tone. That tone communicates to the recipients our feelings, our emotions, our confidence, and that tone is creating a perception about us in the minds of the recipients. So in this section today, we are going to understand that emails also have a tone, just like when we are talking. We are going to learn this through some sample mails. We are going to discuss the tone to be used for different recipients, and we are going to learn 7 very practical tips on effective tone, so that you are able to bring the right tone in your email and improve the effectiveness of your email. So let me show you an email and you decide what does the tone sound like to you. When you read this email with lots of exclamation signs, emoticons, poor grammar, poor punctuation, the immediate thought that comes to mind is that this is a very casual email, sort of like how we write SMS or WhatsApp messages. Let's look at another one. This email sounds very matter of fact, very instructional and not very helpful. Just like you are able to immediately judge the tone of emails by looking at them, so are your clients, your colleagues and your business emails. So how do we actually decide the tone? Let's say there are all these options of tone for your email. Your email can be formal, informal, casual, friendly, helpful, interested, stern, carefree or critical. Now you are sending emails to your clients, to your colleagues and to your business seniors. So what kind of tone should you have? But the first thing to remember is that there is no one tone that can be applicable to all your recipients. If you are sending an email to a client, you would want it to be formal, you would also like it to be friendly, helpful and interested. But if you are writing an email to your business senior, you would like it to be formal and interested. When you are writing to your colleagues, your emails can be informal, they can be friendly, helpful and interested. So you see, there is no one size fit all formula when it comes to deciding the tone of the email. However, even within these recipients, there cannot be a standard tone that can be applicable to all emails. In fact, there are 2 things that you need to keep in mind when deciding what kind of tone your email should have. The first thing, of course, is who you are sending the email to, the recipient, and the second thing is why you are sending that email. What is your objective? What is your purpose? We already discussed in last video the importance of your purpose of sending emails, and you must keep that in mind even when you are deciding the tone of your emails. And when you are thinking about who, the recipient, an important thing to remember is how close you are to this person. What kind of a relationship or rapport do you have with this person? There is this diagram that can be very helpful in deciding the kind of relationship you have. So let us assume that you are right at the middle of this diagram, right at the middle of the little red circle. Just outside of you are the people in this red circle who are your close friends and your work family, people you are very, very comfortable with, people you have a very good relationship with. You can be casual when you write emails to these people. You don't have to be formal, you don't have to be very professional, you don't have to use a lot of heavy words or professional language. Just outside of this circle is the green circle. These have people like minor friends and close acquaintances. Here again, since these are a little bit further away, the language can still be casual but less casual than what it was before. As we keep moving outside, your relationship further keeps getting widened, and as we keep moving outside, your level of formality should keep going higher and higher. So people in the light blue circle are your warm professional contacts. Here you will be further more formal than you are with people in the green circle. And as we go to the outermost circle, that is the dark blue one, you have your strangers and your professional contacts. Here you will always use a very formal tone for your emails. So keep in mind that there is a little bit of a subjectivity here. You'll have to gauge your relationship, you'll have to gauge the kind of rapport you have, and you'll have to remember the objective of your email before you decide what kind of tone to go for. Now you may ask, what is tone? I can't see the tone, I can't touch it, I can't hear it. So how do I even decide what makes up a tone? The tone of your email is comprised of the words that you used plus the expressions that you use. So let me now share with you 7 simple, easy, practical tips that you can start applying from today onwards in all the emails that you write to make your tone more appropriate, more effective, and more courteous. How do you feel if you receive an email which has all capital letters, everything written in uppercase? It makes you feel like the other person is shouting at you, is angry at you. Even though the other person may not have meant it, but the use of all capitals makes it sound like screaming and should always be avoided. Similarly, the color red in an email. Well, red is the color of danger, and as soon as someone writes something in red, it makes it sound like the person is angry and the person is shouting. So avoid using the color red. In fact, I would go a step further and say that avoid using any kind of color in your emails. In your professional emails, just stick to the color black. When you look at these 2 examples, which one do you think is more professional? We have already talked about not using capitals, and another thing that you will notice in the first one is the use of multiple exclamation signs and multiple question marks. Now some people have the habit to do it, and again they mean nothing when they use it, but to me as a recipient, when I receive an email which has lots of question marks, lots of exclamation signs, the first thought that comes to my mind is, why is this person standing on my head and screaming at me to do something? Avoid using these, as they again create a very poor perception of you in the mind of the recipients. Another thing to avoid in your emails is emotional language. Now I can understand that at times you must be feeling very angry and you may end up writing an email in a very irate or resentful tone. Remember that the next day you will end up feeling alright and the anger would have gone away. What would remain is that email in that irate or resentful tone. Emails are forever, they stay forever. So we must make sure that we never mix our emotions while writing them. Sometimes when we are angry or irritated, we end up asking rhetorical questions. Even you may have received an email which asked a question like, how can you do this? Or is this ever going to get done? Or why don't they understand? Or why can't they get it right? And you are left wondering, how am I supposed to reply to this email? These are rhetorical questions and they do not have any replies to them. So avoid using them in your emails. Not only do you put the recipient in the spot by wondering how do I reply, but you also come across as a very negative person. In your professional communication, make sure you sound like a positive, optimistic person. Make sure you spread positivity through your emails. What about using italics and bold? Sometimes we want to highlight certain important things, certain keywords in our email, so we want to use italics and bold. It is a good practice, but it needs to be done very diligently. So first thing is that they cannot be used together. So you can't use both bold and italics on the same words. Secondly, use them as little as possible. Both italics and bold tend to highlight the text, tend to emphasize the text, but if you end up emphasizing everything, then nothing at all will be emphasized. So use it very sparingly in only those parts where you actually want to bring forth the importance of those words. In English language, there are several ways of saying the same thing. So let's say I meet you and I say, oh, you are wearing a nice shirt. How much is it for? and you tell me, oh, I got it for 500 rupees, yeah, thank you. So I can either say, wow, that's a very cheap shirt, or I can say, wow, that's a very inexpensive shirt. And the whole context of those two statements changes. Just by the choice of word, even though those two words mean the same, just by the choice of the word, the perception of my message will change in your mind. So there are several ways of saying the same thing. I can either say something is good, or I can call it excellent, or fantastic, or superb. If there is an error, I can call it a fault, or inaccuracy, or miscalculation. Similarly, there are several different words for upset, several different words for problem. So in my professional communication, in my emails, what words should I choose? The golden rule is that it's better to tone down the words rather than being too sharp. So avoid using words that are too extreme and too sharp in your emails. So instead of saying we made a blunder, I can say we made an error. Instead of saying that is terrible service, I will say that is poor service. Instead of calling someone silly, I can call them impractical. Instead of calling something useless, I can call it ineffective. Definitely the choice of sophisticated words, the choice of mature words will make you sound like a mature professional banker. And like I said earlier, your anger is temporary, but your emails are permanent. So do not write angry emails when you are feeling irritated, or even if you receive an email from someone who seems to be angry or too aggressive, just pick up the phone and talk to them. Do not get into an exchange of long and angry emails back and forth. Other people who are on CC will enjoy the show at your expense, and those emails will stay forever to tarnish your image and to damage your personal brand. Let us summarize what we have learned in today's video about tone of your emails. First of all, an email has tone, just like our speech does. How to decide the tone is by deciding why you are writing and who you are writing to. Some tips that we learned today. First of all, avoid capital letters. It is equivalent to shouting. Avoid coloring your words in red. It also seems very angry. Avoid too many symbols like exclamation marks or question marks. Avoid being emotional in your emails. Avoid asking rhetorical questions. Use italics and bold wisely, only where you want to emphasize your point. And there are many ways to say the same thing. Choose your words with care. I just want to end by saying that every email that you send, every word that you write is a representation of you. So be wise, be careful, and always keep your personal brand in your mind. After you finish watching this video, I request you to go back to your moment to reflect sheets and write down 2 things that you are doing well and 2 things that you need to do differently based on what you have learned from today's video. Thank you for watching, and I wish you all the very best on your journey to talk, write, and look like mature bankers.